Hi guys, I just got done watching the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, or Angry Video Game Nerd, the movie. It's on Vimeo on demand, so you can rent it or buy it. I rented it. It was $5, converts to like £3 something. And yeah, I've been waiting for this film for years. Let's just talk about my backstory with Nerd and his videos. I did a video recently about my horror movie reviews, and about how James Rolfe and his Monster Madness videos were the main thing that influenced me. There's also, hi, this is Derek237, who also did similar reviews, but James Rolfe's Monster Madness reviews were really what made me want to review horror movies in the style I do, where I have my voice and put the clips over me, and through James Rolfe, I discovered people like Nostalgia Critic and all the people at thatguywiththeglasses.com, which of course influenced Hollywood Beatdown. Without James Rolfe and the Angry Video Game Nerd, I probably would not be making videos now. Before I did my horror movie reviews, I was contemplating quitting. I wasn't doing anything that I was really enjoying. I was constantly doing my parodies, and I was getting bored of doing them. I didn't really do anything else. I was getting bored of doing the DVD updates and the short movie reviews like this. So, really, finally, when I watched his videos, I think I'd already been watching them for years, but finally when I, thought, you know what, I could actually probably do this, that's when I kind of got more enthusiastic about YouTube and started making videos more often than ever. Actually, no, it's kind of a lie. I was doing videos pretty much every day before, but I mean, more often than when I first started, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I actually put a lot of effort into my videos instead of just cobbling them together in like 5 minutes and hoping people would watch them. No, I put effort into them now. So, yeah, I remember James Rolfe's Angry Video Game Nerd. For those who don't know, he's one of the leading game reviewers on YouTube. Without him, a lot of these people wouldn't exist. People like John Tron, Peanut Butter Gamer, Brutal Moose, they would not exist without the Angry Video Game Nerd. Basically, what his videos are is he's the stereotypical nerd. He plays video games from the 70s, well, not 70s, from the 80s and 90s. There wasn't really many in the 70s, so yeah, mainly the 80s and 90s. Plays things like the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, Atari, Super Nintendo, Genesis, those sort of games. He also plays all the weird consoles, like the consoles that didn't go on for very long, like the Virtual Boy and the 3DO, things like that. He reviews bad games and gets really angry about them, and similar to like the Nostalgia Critic or even my Hollywood Beatdown, he plays a character. The character is kind of loosely based on his anger, but the character is actually nowhere near him. He's a completely different person to the character. In the videos, he just basically swears a lot. He comes up with colourful euphemisms for how bad a game is. Like, instead of most people just say, this game sucks, he'll say, this game sucks, monkey's diarrhea, shit like that. He says really obscene things, and it's funny. It's funnier than it sounds, but yeah, I guess just because he plays the character really well, and he's always done a great job with the videos, and he puts lots of time and effort into them, puts lots of effects, just because of, how good the videos are, how well made they are. I think that's one of the reasons why people have watched them so much and why he's had such a big following. He's not been sponsored, that doesn't make any sense. He's been inspired by like monster movies, stuff like that. He uses a lot of practical effects as well as some CGI when he can't do it with practical effects. And I guess I started watching very early on, maybe about 2007, 2008-ish. So he started 10 years ago exactly this year. So 2004 was the first one, but he didn't really start making it regularly till like 2006. So yeah, it was about a year or two after he started, I started watching, and yeah, I really liked them. I watched them a lot. I've pretty much seen, I think I have seen every single episode, so yeah, he announced the movie probably about 8 years ago, not long after the show really became popular, so I've been looking forward to the film for years. I've not known exactly how it was going to be, didn't really expect it to be great. I did not expect it to be a very good movie. I expected it will either be one or two things. It'll be a big disappointment and a waste of the time and effort that was put into it, or it could be an amazing, fan-pleasing film that it's better than it should be, basically. It's the latter of the two. This film is just fantastic. It is really, really good, but you know, it's good on two different levels. I think it's a great film for fans. It's got all the things you'd expect from an angry video game nerd movie. Tons of different, like, jokes, in-jokes, like, references. All this stuff from his shows. Not from his shows. His show, The Angry Video Game Nerd. All of these different things that he's brought back from the reviews that, this is kind of like, a lot of the time you end up playing spot the reference, stuff like, he parodies stuff that he made fun of in other games, such as, he reviewed the movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, and there's a scene where someone falls off a cliff, and as they go into the water, instead of making a splash or anything, they just basically implode on each other, on themselves. And he made fun of that, and he actually put it in the movie. And there's things like that. There's also cameos from people. I won't spoil it. I will not spoil the cameos. There's one that I kind of guessed would be in it. It was kind of obvious it was going to be in there. And the person actually is said they were going to be in it. And another person I did not expect at all, who, if you're a fan of horror movies, you'll probably know this person. But yeah, I'll talk about the plot quickly. The plot is, the nerd is, he's the nerd. He makes YouTube videos. He makes all these reviews online. That part still exists. It's sort of like, the nerd's a real person, but he still makes videos. And he's got a guy who's helping him, whose name I've already forgotten, despite the fact I finished the film about 5 minutes ago. They go on this journey to go find the E.T. cartridges, basically, because he's constantly getting all these requests to review E.T., the Atari 2600 game, which is responsible for the 80s video game crash, and it's been dubbed the worst game of all time. And there's all the urban legends that apparently, like, millions of cartridges were buried in the New Mexico, is it? Desert? It's in America somewhere. It was buried in the desert. So yeah, it's his journey to go and find them. He's got a girl who works for a gaming company who are making a sequel to E.T. called E.T. 2, which is trying to be worse than the original. And what the nerds decided, he said, if we go out to the desert and find these cartridges, I will get them and actually review the game and the sequel. So this person comes on to kind of record the video and everything, and while they're there, the government basically comes in to try and shush them up, try and find out what they're trying to do. And the film is kind of like, the nerd and the two people who are following him, or three if you count the person who comes along later on in the film, they're trying to uncover the secret and get away from the government at the same time. And it's a much more ambitious film than you'd expect it to be. I mean, this is a film about a YouTuber. About a YouTuber, made by a YouTuber, and it's this huge movie. It really is. There's tons of throwbacks to monster movies. I mean, the effects and everything. A lot of people complained about the effects, actually. And really, all I can say is, what did you expect? Camera cut out. This is a movie made on a tight budget. There's a small budget. Also, he wants to intentionally make a lot of the effects cheesy. It's a mixture of practical effects and CGI. And both, I think, do look pretty good. Of course, the CGI at times is a little bit bad. But I think it's intentional. I don't think he tried to make, like, Avengers or Avatar style CGI quality. He wanted to make this kind of cheesy, cheap effect. And it works really well. it's basically a B movie. I think even James Rolfe wanted it to be a B movie at times. And, yeah, but there's still some practical effects that look really good. I mean, there's, the models are obviously intentionally not meant to look realistic. The models are basically, if you've ever seen, like, some of the original Godzilla movies and you've seen, like, the models of the vehicles, like, how they fall over so incredibly cheesily and obviously fake, it's that sort of thing. And there's also the, there's a monster at the end. I won't spoil anything about the monster or anything, but it actually does look pretty good. I was surprised by how good some of the effects are. I mean, the film is basically made by fans. James Rolfe did actually reach out to fans to come in and work on the film. He got a lot of fans to work on the practical effects and the audio and everything. So this is a fan-made film for the fans. And you don't have to be a fan of The Angry Video Game Nerd to enjoy it, but it will help. If you're a gamer, you're a game fan, especially of retro games, and you know about the E.T. game and know the legend behind it, you'll probably enjoy the film. It's a really, really smart film. It's a really smart film about what could have happened, and it really does blow everything out of proportion. Like, instead of just saying, well, they hid it in the desert just because it was a bad game, he puts this whole massive spin on it, this huge, like, the whole reason there was a government cover-up was because, I'm not going to spoil it, it was because there was stuff that they did with the game, and things like that, and it's just a really... It's a smart film. It's actually smarter than I was expecting it to be. The film's really well written as well. There's a lot of great jokes in there. It's just a really, really funny film. And yeah, I'm a massive fan of The Angry Video Game Nerd, so I was going to enjoy the film. And I just really did. I loved everything about the film. I actually have very, very few issues with the film. The issues I have mainly are that it's a tiny bit too long. It should have been about maybe even just simply 10-15 minutes shorter. There's a lot of stuff that you could have cut out. There's a lot of things that there's a few effects in there that are kind of unnecessary. Like, there's the reaction shots of the monster at the end, where there's quite a few of them and they are a bit repetitive, and they're probably the worst effects when it's so obvious that they're standing in front of a green screen. Those ones could have been cut down a little bit. There is only actually really one or two jokes in that reaction bit, one of which was actually really funny. And apart from that, they could have cut it out or cut it down. There's lots of cuts they could have made throughout the film, but really apart from that, I don't really have many problems with the film. Also, the credits go on a bit too long, but I can't really complain about that because it has a during credits scene where credits are on one side of the screen and an extra clip's on the other side of the screen. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone at all, because if you're a fan of The Angry Video Game Nerd, you're going to enjoy the fuck out of that during credits scene. I mean, it's everything we've been waiting for. I'm not going to spoil it, but you can probably guess what's going to be at the end of the movie. But, again, not spoiling it. That's all I really have to say about this film. It's just a really, really good film. It's amazing that they managed to do what they did on a small budget with a small crew. Yeah, it's an achievement in indie film. It really is. If you haven't seen the film and you're a big fan of The Angry Video Game Nerd, go rent it. Don't download it. And this is coming from someone that actually does download films occasionally. Do not download this film. It was made on a small budget, kind of small budget actually, but you should go buy the film or rent it, because they deserve the money for what they've done for this. If it's a bigger film, then maybe I'd say go to torrent it, whatever. But independent films, you should actually give the money to the independent people. That's just me basically hating on massive studios, but yeah. Is this still even recording? Yep. My camera cuts out after 9 minutes. I checked to make sure I hadn't cut out and not told me. Yeah, go rent the film. It's not expensive at all. As I said, it's $4.99 in dollars. It translates to like £3 and 6p in the UK. So it's not expensive at all. And to buy is like $9.99. I don't know how much it is in pounds. I didn't convert it. I'm not going to buy the digital copy. I'll wait till it comes out on DVD and Blu-ray, which is supposed to come out later on in the year. And yeah, it's a great movie. This will be on my top 10, but at the end of the year, trust me, it will. It won't be number 1. That still goes to Boyhood, and it won't be number 2 because that'll probably go to Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know about number 3. At the moment, it's either this or Captain America 2. Yeah, the only reason why this would beat Captain America 2 is just because it's such a fan-pleasing film, and I'm such a huge fan of the nerd. It's just everything I wanted from the movie, basically. So, yeah, it will be on the list. If you haven't seen it and you're a fan, go watch it. If you haven't seen it and you're a fan of retro gaming, go see it. If you're not a fan of the nerd and you're not a fan of retro gaming, you won't like it. It's as simple as that. You will not like it. You might enjoy it if you like cheesy B-movies and monster movies and stuff. But even then, that's such a small part of the film. It really is about the nerd and about gaming and stuff. So if you don't like that, you will not like the movie. It's as simple as that. But who knows, you might. So maybe give it a watch. Depends on if you want to risk it. If you want to pay, not much actually, like $5 or $5 or whatever to watch a film that you may or may not like. Whatever, I'm just saying I loved the film and it was everything I wanted it to be. I know a lot of people haven't actually given it ratings because they think the rating system is unfair with a film like this. But me, I'd probably give it either a 10 out of 10 or even a 9.5 out of 10. It's a high rating. It's a great movie. I was a big fan, and it'll be a while before we get another movie. James Rolfe said that and maybe a sequel, but it will still be a while, so whatever. Look forward to see what he's got next. Look forward to the new nerd videos. Did it cut out? No, I just heard a random noise. No, it didn't cut out. But I've got barely any time left, so I need to wrap this up. Thanks for watching my review of the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, and I'll see you next time.